3 years ago, I was framed and transferred to an overseas branch. My girlfriend said sincerely that she would wait for me to come back. But when I returned to China 3 years later, I received 3 pregnancy test reports from my girlfriend. That same night, I witnessed her accepting someone else's proposal. That person was the colleague who framed me 3 years ago. They talked about me in a joking manner, and my girlfriend's disdainful voice was particularly harsh. That poor guy, should I marry him and live with him? After hearing this, I threw the engagement ring I had prepared into the trash can. Turn around and go home to inherit tens of millions of fortune. When I saw Sophia hugging another man not far away, I thought I would go crazy and make a scene, but my feet seemed to be fixed in place and I couldn't move at all. Sophia hugged the man, and there was a lot of cheering around. The scene I had imagined overlapped with this moment. "Marry me, Michael. I won't marry you anymore." She giggled and looked at the huge diamond ring. "Then I'm really sorry for him." The man pinched Sophia's face with a smile and flirted with her in front of everyone. Sophia was having an affair with my colleague, but she wasn't afraid that I would hear about it. Because she doesn't care about me at all. Crack. The glass in his hand was shattered, and blood dripped down his fingers onto the ground. I pulled the ring off my hand and threw the joke of the past 3 years into the trash can. David asked her just as I was about to leave. "Sophia, are you still going to have your wedding?" I turned back with a hint of expectation, and saw her smiling sweetly. "Of course I will do it. I want to make him the biggest joke of all." "You are so mean. Haven't you loved him for many years?" "What's there to love? He's already left me and gone abroad for 3 years. When we get married, I'll be a widow for the rest of my life." Hearing this, everyone even nodded in approval. The pain in my heart mixed with the severe pain in my hands. I gasped and left this sad place. I was walking aimlessly on the street when suddenly my cell phone rang. "Son, if you want to marry Sophia, just do it. We won't stop you." My father's tired voice came from the other end of the line. He and my mother tried to dissuade me in every way and even found other blind dates for me. At first, I just thought that my parents looked down on her, so they kept obstructing her. Now it seems that my parents may have noticed something a long time ago. "Dad, I don't want to get married." There was silence on the other end of the phone for a moment, and then I heard my father's voice filled with joy and doubt. "What's wrong? Did you have a fight with her? Did you have a good talk with her? Don't be a man who cheats on her and then abandons her." "No, I haven't abandoned you all the time." I could only respond randomly. "Well, whatever you do, your mother and I support you. There's just one thing, you have to keep your promise and don't harm the girl." My dad immediately sensed that something was wrong with me, and after thinking for a moment, he replied, "If you don't want to go out, come back to work. The company at home needs someone to take over." I hummed, held back my sobs and hung up the phone. When I saw the pregnancy test report, I thought it was a prank by someone else. I wondered who would be so bored as to make such a joke. Sophia and I have been in a relationship for 5 years. For the sake of her dance career, I have never been willing to touch her. Every time I see her dancing on the stage, I feel the wait is worth it. But today's proposal scene made me realize that I was extremely wrong. Who would have thought that after 3 years abroad, everything has changed? I returned to the hotel in a daze and took out my phone to check. There was no new message. Sophia took care of the entire wedding arrangements. A few days ago, she called and said jokingly, "Now we just need a groom." Now it seems that this groom is not me. I fell asleep in a daze, but was awakened by an urgent ring of the phone. I looked at the time and it was only 3 o'clock in the morning. "Husband," a soft voice came from the microphone. "Have you had lunch? I set the alarm to call you." I pretended nothing happened and replied calmly, "I've already returned to my country. Do you want me to come find you?" "No, She suddenly stammered and couldn't speak, and a man's chuckle was heard. I clenched my fists involuntarily. "Is there a man next to you?" "No, I'm watching TV." Her voice became clear again. "Then come over to my place now." I gave the hotel address and hung up the phone. In the past, when I returned to China, no matter how late it was, I would go to her house and wait for her to wake up and give her a surprise. I didn't expect that today. She couldn't help herself and gave me a bigger surprise. Not long after, the front desk told me that someone was looking for me. As I hurried downstairs, Sophia was blushing and flirting with David beside her. Seeing me coming, Sophia walked over to me subconsciously, but after a few steps she started pouting and throwing a tantrum. They asked me to go out in the middle of the night without caring about my safety. Luckily, I met David on the road. She directly explained the reason why David was here, avoiding my guesses and misunderstandings. Is she so impatient to tell the world that she cheated on me? Seeing that I was unhappy, Sophia tried to smooth things over. What happened in the past is in the past. David took good care of me when you were away. Yes, he took good care of me, even down to the bed. And why does she take the initiative to forgive others on my behalf? David and I are both in the company's R&D department, working together to develop a new product. At that time, I had already made it clear that the data was unreasonable. It was because he was eager for fame and fortune, and in order to grab the credit, he reported unreasonable numbers. By the time the product is produced and developed, it is too late. When someone died, he immediately put all the blame on me. But he didn't expect that my parents tried every means to clear my name, and in the end I was only sent abroad for 3 years to settle down. Thinking of this, I couldn't help but clench my fists. I'll reimburse you for your travel expenses. It's not appropriate to accompany someone's wife in the middle of the night. I took out a few bills and threw them at David. Can you get out of here? Sophia quickly grabbed my hand and pressed it right on my wound. I pushed her away in pain. Don't pull me. She was also frightened by me, and her expression became stiff. What are you doing? You're getting angry just like that. She didn't even notice the bloody bandage on my hand and just wanted to get me and David to shake hands and make peace. Just because he took care of you for me, I have to forgive him? Did I ask him to take care of you? Seeing that I was not convinced, she immediately picked up David and turned away. I don't want to get married. She shouted angrily, but I didn't expect it to hit the mark exactly what I was thinking. This time, I didn't try to keep her. I looked out the window and saw her and David hugging each other, and I took a picture with my cell phone. The next day, I went to the hospital. I have one last thing to confirm. When I took the 3 pregnancy test reports to the doctor for verification, the doctor rudely drove me away. How can it be fake? I am her attending physician. It's you who caused that girl to have 3 miscarriages. Just be kind enough to let the girl go. My legs were so weak that I couldn't stand up. At that moment, the last bit of love left in my heart was ruthlessly extinguished. So I found the wedding company and cancelled the wedding arrangements. When the wedding company notified Sophia, she rushed to the hotel and blocked me. How can you cancel the wedding? What about the 3-year agreement? Seeing her tearful face, my first reaction was to find it funny. It was you who said you didn't want to get married. What are you regretting now? I no longer had the energy to respond to her. I collapsed on the bed and didn't want to think. That was just something I said in anger. It's your fault for being too stingy. She pretended to fall on me, and I didn't have time to avoid it, so my wound was directly split open. I pushed her away and looked at the bloody bandage, feeling particularly upset. Am I stingy? I asked her back. She knew the whole process of me being slandered. Sophia even saw me being forced to kneel down and beg David to let me go. I was like a stray dog at that time. At that time, Sophia saw that I was in a mess and she comforted me. She pulled me out of the mud, and now she is pushing me off the cliff with her own hands. At this time, Sophia noticed my hand. Why didn't you tell me that the injury was so serious? How can you wear the ring like this? I don't want to wear it anymore. Let others wear it. I rubbed the places where she touched hard, but she didn't care. When she heard me say this, her eyes lit up. Then I'll ask David to help us. A wedding without a ring is incomplete. He'll put it on your finger and return it to you when the time comes. I just find it funny. How can there be such shameless people in the world? If the groom's hand is injured, can he find a replacement hand to wear the ring? I really think that in ancient times, the groom was unable to show up due to some reasons, so he used a big rooster to pray at the wedding. Seeing that I didn't respond, she realized that it was a bit too much to say that. Okay. I agreed readily. There is no need to put it on for me, he can just be the groom. Sophia didn't expect me to be so stupid. When she saw that I agreed, she held my face and wanted to kiss me. My stomach churned and I looked away. Are you sure you want to have the wedding? Of course, we've been looking forward to this for a long time. Sophia gently put her arm around me, a happy smile on her face. Since she is looking forward to it so much, I also want to give her a grand wedding. I originally wanted to go to the wedding house I bought, but found that the door lock had been changed. I don't even have a place to stay in this city. Honey, go try on some suits. Sophia called, gave an address, and hung up. I didn't want to go over at first, but the sneering sound from the man on the other side made me want to go and see what this scumbag and bitch were doing. Baby, we have been in love for many years, and I just want a luxury wedding dress of my own. Sophia frowned as she looked at my shabby appearance. Before I could respond, the bridal shop assistant had already invited Sophia and David in, and then said to me, "Driver, the parking lot is over there." I put my hands in my pockets and said to Sophia, "Try it slowly." David rubbed Sophia with his hands intentionally or unintentionally, and Sophia's cute face was not a lie. She quickly ran over to pull me. "Honey, it's all my fault for not telling you in advance to dress more formally." The salesperson apologized to me awkwardly and quickly invited me in. "This is a VIP system. If it weren't for David's wide network of contacts, we wouldn't be able to buy it." Seeing that I didn't respond, Sophia stood between the three of us and tried to smooth things over. "Every wedding dress here costs no less than $1 million. In their eyes, this is money that I can never earn in my entire life. They are just using this to humiliate me." After trying on one wedding dress after another, I found each one to be just as beautiful and charming as the scenes I had imagined countless times. "Sadly, this isn't for me. David, help me unzip my zipper," Sophia shouted subconsciously in the fitting room. David gave me a provocative look and walked straight in. When they came out, Sophia's mouth was shiny and her face was rosy. David wiped his mouth and said meaningfully, "That's it. The diamond-studded fishtail is indeed very suitable. Honey, your hand is injured, I can't call you." Seeing that there was no surprise in my eyes and I looked like an outsider, she pulled me in a flattering manner. "Let's take this one." Just as I was about to take out my card, David had already signed the bill and paid. "I know you can't afford it, so this is my compensation to you for what happened before." He tried on a suit and looked at it with satisfaction. "I'm honored to be able to attend your wedding." I ignored his provocation. According to the text messages on my mobile phone, the wedding dress and suit I had ordered in advance had been airlifted over. But, it seems I don't need it anymore. It was only after we left the bridal shop that Sophia realized that I had not tried on any suits during the entire process. "David is about the same size as you. You can order another one when the time comes. After all, your hand is injured and it's not easy to change it." She sat in the passenger seat with ease and suddenly got down again. "You see, I'm used to it." Sophia opened the car door for me and sat in the back seat with me. "David, please take us back to the hotel." Sophia didn't mention the wedding room at all. "Can't I go home?" Sophia's face froze. "The bride and groom can't sleep together. Can't you wait?" Looking at the delicate woman in front of me, everything seemed strange. It wasn't until the organizer asked me when I could make the posters of the bride and groom that I realized that Sophia and I didn't even have a decent photo together, let alone wedding photos. I said no rush, I would make it myself as a surprise for the bride. "Honey, the dance troupe is going on tour. Sorry, I'll see you on the wedding day." When my mother posted a photo of a man and a woman kissing and asked me if this was my girlfriend, I already knew. It wasn't a dance tour at all. She hadn't danced since her first abortion. She once said that she would work hard for a year to get a chance to study in the United States, but she ended up in David's bed. When Sophia had her first abortion, I had to fly back despite the jet lag to take care of her. She told me vaguely that there was a shortage of beds and she was temporarily arranged in the gynecology ward. Those doctors showed me disdain and ridicule for no reason, and I felt sorry for not being able to take good care of her. Ding ding, a sound of surveillance suddenly came from my mobile phone, and I suddenly realized that I had installed a hidden camera in the bedroom of my wedding room. I was afraid that Sophia would be in danger living alone in the bridal chamber, so I deliberately pretended that the camera would be turned off if there was a power outage one day. A teasing voice was heard, and in the well-decorated master bedroom, two dirty people were rolling on the bright red sheets. "David, do you love me?" Sophia raised her head and took a deep breath. "You have to cherish these last few days. Have the wedding with me. What can a poor boy like me give you?" David hugged Sophia tightly. "Let's elope on the wedding day." If he knew that his woman was treated like this by me. Seeing that Sophia did not respond, David leaned over and spoke into her ear. Sophia lay on David's chest. "Okay, he's so poor and you still want me to marry him? Dream on. Do you regret it? Do you regret loving such a woman?" I lit a cigarette with trembling hands. A few days later, Sophia sent me a photo telling me that I needed to change my wedding dress. Looking at the fluffy skirt, it is better for eloping than a fishtail skirt. In my hometown, the bride and groom are not allowed to meet before the wedding. She didn't even want to call me and just sent me a text message to get rid of me. I looked at the two people who were in perfect harmony every day on the surveillance camera, and they laughed at me unscrupulously. You know what? He was in such a miserable state, like a dead dog. I just felt sorry for him and was soft-hearted. My heart seemed numb, and I handed the USB drive to the organizer, asking him to play the video. At the wedding, I hung the posters I had carefully prepared one by one in the most conspicuous positions and covered them with red cloth. I changed the entire scene to black and white to commemorate my dead love and their dead child. There is not a single photo of me and her. I specifically asked the bride to remove the red cloth herself and then left the scene. She was still sleeping in David's arms before the wedding started. Dad, I'm coming back to work today. I broke the phone card and left this city that made me sad. I haven't been home for several years. In order to follow Sophia, I gave up everything and came to her city to accompany her. She never knew what I gave up for her. Now that I have escaped from my marriage, I can completely be myself again. Looking at friends whom I haven't seen for a long time, they hugged me and kept me drunk tonight. You're already married, but you're still not willing to bring your sister-in-law out. They didn't know that I had run away from my marriage, and they all thought that I was so love-dead that I was holding on to my wife and wouldn't let go. I broke up, I turned my head away and finished a glass of wine in one gulp. Oh my God, someone is looking for a runaway groom all over the internet, it can't be you. Seeing the wedding I arranged become a hot topic, I felt a lot relieved at that moment. Watching the video, the bride held David's hand and opened the red cloth with a happy look on her face, and saw those intimate photos and pregnancy test reports that were magnified several times. Sophia tried frantically to find something to block it, but she couldn't. I asked the organizer to release the video on time. Her conspiracy with David, the dress fitting in the bridal shop, and my final blessing, wishing my former colleague and ex-girlfriend a happy wedding. Sophia couldn't get through the phone no matter how hard she tried, so David pushed her off the stage. I spent the whole night drinking and partying with my friends. I haven't been a playboy for a long time. The surveillance video popped up again, showing Sophia beating David in the bridal chamber and telling him to die. But David pushed him to the ground and beat him hard. If it wasn't for suppressing Michael, who would want to stay with a piece of shit like you? I had 3 abortions all for you, and now you've ruined my reputation, but you're not willing to marry me. David didn't want to pay any attention to her and slapped her hard on the face. It's a waste if you don't sleep with me for free. Who knows how many people you have slept with? What a slut. After saying that, he left without looking back. Sophia never imagined that she would become the final clown. I cancelled the monitoring information. This wedding house is a gift I gave her for free after being with me for so many years. I work in a research lab at home and live a carefree life every day. Here, no one will intrigue for profit. I was also immersed in my work, turning the pain of love into motivation for my work. It turns out that I can live a better life after leaving Sophia. I didn't see her again until my friend invited me to his newly opened nightclub. The girls I recruit are all dancers, and they dance so excitingly. A whole row of girls in uniform stood in front of me. There were many bold ones who had already held their wine glasses and sat next to me. Whoever can get Michael to drink a glass of wine, I'll give him a reward. I didn't plan to drink, I just came to give him face, but my friend took out several stacks of cash, which made everyone excited. A little girl immediately picked up the wine glass and was about to feed me to drink it when a dark shadow rushed out. Who allowed you to touch my husband? The lights were dim, and Sophia, wearing the exact same uniform, pushed the little girl away frantically. My friend was obviously unhappy and wanted the security guard to take her away. They really let in all kinds of crazy people. Michael, don't mind it. Sophia grabbed my hand in fear, crying. Michael, please say something. You ran away from me last time and made me lose face. Now you don't want me anymore. Only then did my friend realize that the woman I had been hiding and even severing ties with my parents for was the lady in front of him. He leaned over to my ear and told me that Sophia was a new nightclub lady he had hired, and had been the top seller a few days ago. He heard that she was secretly involved in the sex trade and had been warned. You're talking nonsense. You're Michael's friend, so you should call me sister-in-law. Seeing that I didn't shake off her hand, Sophia sat on my lap. Honey, I was really wrong. You were wrong? How could you be wrong? What about when you treated me like a fool? I pushed her to the ground for the first time. Sophia was frightened by me and rolled over and hugged my legs. No, it's all David's fault. He seduced me. She is still trying to shirk responsibility and distance herself from the matter, but cheating is the biggest mistake. There were even worse things. I kept my distance and didn't expose her, but she took advantage of me. Sophia acted like a spoiled child to please me when I was angry. Seeing her docile appearance, she no longer looked down on me. The more she did this, the more disgusting memories came flooding back to my mind. I was abroad for 3 years, but she never took the initiative to contact me. The wedding house I bought for her was never allowed to be set foot in when I returned to China. Only I was like a fool, coming back eagerly, only to be told that there was no time to meet. Even when she came to the United States for a tour during her dance troupe, she didn't even notify me. Everyone thought David was her husband and I was their biggest joke. Ring, husband, just marry me. She seemed to have thought of something and took out a wedding ring I had never seen before. I knew without thinking that it was custom-made according to David's size. My hand was injured at that time and I couldn't try it at all. My love ended up with complete despair. I once wanted her to marry me like crazy, but now I wish she would die. I looked at the people around me who were watching me laugh. All of you, get out, including you, Sophia. No, husband, you can't chase me away. Why not? She hurt me so deeply, and the relationship of several years was trampled into the mud by her. It's not like I didn't give her a chance, but in the end, I was the only one who became a joke. When I used my family's help to investigate the injustice I had suffered, I found out that Sophia was the one who sold my data. She looked at me in such a miserable state, but still kept asking me to spend money on her. Each of her dance dresses and shoes were either custom-made by me through various connections, and their exquisiteness and price were no less than David's wedding dress. In her eyes, I am just a poor boy who can be bullied by others. Seeing that I didn't move, she realized something and faced me in a charming manner. What she didn't know was that when she stood in front of me, my stomach was churning and I felt extremely nauseous. She once refused to let me touch her, saying that she would give herself completely to me on the wedding day. Now, she begs me for nothing. You've had 3 miscarriages, and you still have the nerve to come to me? I turned my head away. Aren't you going to marry David? It's not good for you to do this. Looking at Sophia's pale face, I felt upset for no reason and was about to leave. Don't go, husband. I was just possessed by the devil at that time. She covered her face and shed crocodile tears. I was really wrong. Let's start over, okay? I'm just her backup ticket. If David hadn't dumped her, she wouldn't have begged me like this. Okay, you do a ballet here. This time, I humiliated her with the dance that she once regarded as her life. She gritted her teeth and was about to stand up when I turned and left. You know what? You look like a dead dog. I returned to her exactly what she had said. Those words were like needles, piercing my heart. I don't know how she feels now after hearing them. I don't want to know either. If I hadn't presented myself as the nightclub owner's friend, I might have been degraded to nothing by Sophia, a prostitute. What she loves is never the person, but the status and financial resources of others. Even for David, she only loved his wealth and power. I know that Sophia is reluctant to let me, the ultimate bootlicker, go. She started to find out where I lived and where I worked, and brought me stew every day. Even if I fed the soup to the dog, she would still look at me with a smile. Everyone thinks that I am ungrateful for being indifferent when a virtuous and beautiful woman pursues me. Get away from me, you old woman. When Sophia was delivering soup today, she was harassed by an old woman. She called me repeatedly using the phone number she got from my colleague. Michael, there's an old lady following me. She insisted that I go home with her, saying that I'm her granddaughter-in-law. I wanted to laugh at her poor acting skills, but I heard a familiar scream from the other end of the phone. When I arrived, the old man was lying on the ground bleeding profusely. Sophia, still frightened, threw herself into my arms. I didn't have time to respond to her, so I called 120 and 110 to handle the situation. I knew you would come, but unfortunately the soup I made for you is no longer drinkable. She vividly described how she knocked the old man to the ground with a thermos bucket. When I looked at Sophia like this, I felt strange. This was different from the Sophia I liked before. The old man groaned and turned over, but Sophia rolled her eyes and said he deserved it. When I saw the old man's face clearly, I was filled with anger. Bang! I slapped her hard to the ground. This is my grandma. Sophia covered her face and looked at the old man in disbelief. She opened her mouth and murmured, I don't know. No wonder she kept pestering her, saying she was her granddaughter-in-law. Only my grandma had Sophia's photo and looked at it every day. I also told her that Sophia was a good and kind child and that my grandma could rest assured. Even when my grandmother suffered from Alzheimer's disease, she still remembered that she had a very good granddaughter-in-law. If this old lady wasn't my grandmother, you wouldn't regret it. I got in the ambulance and let her explain to the police herself. In the ward, my father's anger could not be calmed for a long time, but he had to endure it out of consideration for my feelings. My mother negotiated with Sophia while carrying a Himalaya on her back. Sophia didn't expect that my family was so rich. Until she asked for 50 million, my mother slapped her hard. My mother had never been angry before. She threw out Sophia's information from her bag, a thick stack of her love history. Our Michael has a good temper and you can bully him, but you are taking it too far, little girl. Sophia couldn't stand the despicable things she did, so she knelt on the ground trembling and begged my mother for forgiveness. My mother said meaningfully, if you had followed my son, you would have countless 50 million now. I had no intention of letting her go, but David smelled the scent and came knocking on my door. In that case, let's clean it up together. After everything was done, my dad told me that someone in the research lab wanted to discuss cooperation and asked me to deal with it as soon as possible. When we saw David leading Sophia, who looked reluctant, all three of us looked surprised. Sophia quickly shook off David's hand and trotted over to my side. When David saw my title of general manager, his face turned ugly, but he could never spit out ivory from a dog's mouth. You've been spreading the rumor that I cheated on you, but the one who's not loved is the mistress. Besides, Sophia and I already got our marriage certificate. He proudly pulled out the electronic marriage certificate, trying to irritate me. You're talking nonsense, it's fake, husband, don't believe him. Sophia anxiously snatched the phone, but David slapped her to the ground. I still saw the date when I got the certificate. It was the day when I had a car accident when returning to China and I was anxious to find my family for surgery. The hospital called the emergency contact several times, but the phone was always turned off. When my life was hanging by a thread, I gave my mother's number and asked her to fly thousands of miles to help me. I almost had to have my entire leg amputated. Afterwards, Sophia not only didn't come to see me, but also ignored me for a few days, saying that she wanted to give me a surprise in the United States and didn't know I would be away. Now my heart is numb and these are nothing to me. Oh, congratulations, the scumbag and the bitch are a couple. I don't need this contract. I was about to close the door and say hello. David thought I was upset, so he leaned over to my ear and said, my wife, you can have some fun if you want. Haven't you never had sex? Isn't it too much to change your product every night? I called the internal line and asked the security guard to come up and drive them away. As soon as the person left, I rushed to the toilet and vomited all over the place. I warned everyone not to cooperate with her, and even tampered with all the product data overnight. Because I believe that a dog will always eat shit. On a rainy night, Sophia stood in front of me, holding a bottle of red wine, all wet. Hubby, I've been kicked out. I have nowhere to go. I didn't want to agree, but her soft body fell on me when I turned around. Sip after sip of red wine poured into my mouth. Even though I could drink, I felt dizzy. Just before I passed out, Sophia left me. I'm sorry, Michael. He said he would divorce me if he got the data. You love me so much, you will forgive me. This data is related to the safety of my company, there is no way David and Sophia don't know about it. Sophia is just too greedy and her acting is poor. The first time, I loved her and trusted her, and she stole it without even having to do anything. This time, she also knew that she was as lowly as grass and had to resort to trickery. When I woke up, David had sent me a message showing off and thanking me. I curled my lips and smiled, wondering if he would like the gift I gave him. After that night, Sophia depended on me. She insisted that she was pregnant with my child and asked me to give her money. Do you think the data David obtained is true or false? I looked at this stupid woman with amusement and put the choice in front of her. You can only choose between me and David. The news that David Family Group was selling fake data came from TV, and Sophia's eyes moved slightly. Michael, you have to know that I did this because I love you. She made up her mind and left my office. What a stupid woman. Sophia was sued by David and put in jail for intentional injury. With the last glimmer of hope, she begged me to change her confession. But I have no obligation to do so, not to mention that this is a grudge between them. I don't know whether David was so angry that he was confused, or he just couldn't bear to give up Sophia as a pawn, but he sent her to jail without even getting a divorce certificate from her. I went to see David, the man who stepped on me, now lying weakly in the hospital bed. Sophia cruelly injured him and made him incapable of consciousness. I think he must be regretting it now. But there is no medicine for regret in this world. Michael, I didn't expect you to be the cruelest person. David wanted to tear me apart with his bare hands while lying on the hospital bed. I peeled the apple calmly, the sharp blade shining brightly in front of his eyes. Compared to you, I'm still a little immature. His tactics were clever, and I almost gave in for the second time. If I hadn't been prepared, I might be the one lying on the hospital bed now. I didn't know why he was so obsessed with bringing me down until the last time he angrily asked me why I deserved the tutor's favor and the position of first author. At that moment I realized that human jealousy can magnify ugliness infinitely. He never questioned his own strength, but hated me for coming later and surpassing him. The doctor said you can get a prosthesis, but you may not be able to do it for even 5 minutes in the future. I looked at his crotch with regret. Fresh apples are so delicious. You are so mean. Haven't you loved him for many years? I don't feel sorry for her, nor am I afraid that she will expose anything about me. Everything is her own fault. It wasn't until she got into a fight in prison and was rushed to the hospital that I received a call from the hospital. The prisoner has no family members here, and you are her emergency contact, so we let you come over. The prison guard pointed to the person who was wrapped tightly inside. She won't live long. She's so cruel. She doesn't care about her life. When she saw me coming, her dull eyes instantly focused. The bandaged hand stretched out with difficulty. Michael, you came to see me. I really love you, please don't leave me. The originally clear voice became hoarse and unpleasant. Seeing that she couldn't hold me, her hands dropped weakly. I'm getting married. I calmly showed the ring. The exquisite men's ring was particularly dazzling under the light. She tried to sit up in panic, but her body became twisted due to the pain. No, you just want to piss me off. It's impossible. She started to talk nonsense like a madman. If I had lived with you at the beginning, I would have flown to the United States to find you when I had time, and acted like a spoiled child and asked you to watch a ballet with me. Everything would have been different. She looked into my expressionless eyes, as if she were talking about someone else. No, from the moment you and David stole my data, we were destined to have no future. What's more, I don't love you at all. I ignored the ups and downs of her electrocardiogram data, and the alarm sounded. A group of nurses and doctors rushed in with emergency equipment. The patient's mood swings are obvious and he has strong symptoms of death. Emergency. The moment I was pushed into the operating room, a critical illness notice was handed to me. Are you the patient's husband? Show me the marriage certificate. The doctor urged me to sign anxiously, but I took a step back. No, not me. Her husband is in the hospital downstairs. I left without looking back. Whether Sophia lives or dies is not up to me to decide. I took off the priceless ring and threw it into the sewer to mourn my lost love and welcome my new life.